Hey folks, what's going on? It's Matt with Heroic Tactics. I'm super excited because I got a special guest. He's from HeroClix YouTube channel that I watch all the time, so I'm going to try not to fanboy, but if I do, I apologize. Here's Jason from Married With Clix.
Wait, where?
It's coming. There we go. How you doing, buddy? I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, it's something's running. There we go, I think. Are you still there, I hope?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, I keep getting confused that they have that weird thing.
The beginning of every Skype call. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right, so you just got into Dice Masters recently?
Well, actually, I did. I bought the game at AVX, and then I stumbled because there was a little bit of a lull, and HeroClix started kind of overwhelming me. So what ended up happening is I got a whole bunch of AVX, kind of sat on it for a while. Uncanny X-Men showed up. I got some of that, and then it kind of jumped past me. So what ended up happening is I went and got back in around Age of Ultron. And that's our venue needed help getting the game going. And somehow, once we got HeroClix up and running and popular again and getting into a smooth rotation, getting Dice Masters back into that became the next priority. And so I kind of refocused myself on Dice Masters, wanted to get the game going, because really, if you want to get the events when it comes to WizKid, you got to get every game going.
I might run that.
I also really like the game too. I mean, I like the rules, I like the simplicity of it, but we just had a little bit of a lapse where things got busy. We couldn't really play. So we're back. I'm really liking it. And I'm just kind of playing catch-up lately with some of the strategies. I know some of the popular ones, some of the popular characters. A lot of them haven't changed since when I initially got into the game, as Black Widow and Gabi still show up often.
Yeah, they're going to be here until they finally rotate out AVX. They are definitely staples of the game. I think it's kind of promising that the super rares in Spider-Man were very lackluster. It kind of shows that they're trying to balance stuff out. It's kind of disappointing that they were lackluster, but it's kind of like shows that we're trying to tone it down a little bit and stuff like that.
I understand how it works. Sorry.
So I understand you'll be getting a Pro Dice circuit soon?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, January 10th, a store in Toronto, which is the big city near where I live, called For the Win Cafe. I haven't personally had a chance to go there. I've been told that the venue is very nice. It's one of those coffee board game joints that are really starting to show up a lot in Toronto. So it's not the first one that's shown up. I think Snakes and Lattes was one of the first ones with the idea.
That's the best name.
It's an amazing name. I was like, Snakes and Lattes? That's brilliant because, it's punning on the board game name. And it's a place where you can go there, grab some coffee, and play some board games with people. In fact, a buddy of mine has taken several first dates there just to find out if they're worth the time. It's like, we're not going to get along, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this place For the Win Cafe, I'm planning on attending one of their the regular events Wednesday to see what the atmosphere is like, meet some of the players because they're going to see me on the 10th, and maybe myself and a couple of my other players. It's good. I find as a HeroClix player, it's good to have this alternative format or this alternative competitive play in the Pro Dice circuit. It's kind of like how HeroClix has the ROC. WizKids does a great job of running regular organized play, running their one or two major events locally as well as their opens, but they're not as frequent as something like the ROC runs. So having the Pro Dice circuit that kind of extends across the year is a good thing for myself to as a competitive player. Every game I get into, I don't really get half in. Financially, I'll get half in. Like Dice Masters is nearly my pocket change game, especially in the price point per pack, right?
Yeah, it's so cheap.
Yeah, it's dangerously cheap. It's like, you know what? I got $10. Let's get 10 packs. I got 10 packs of Dice Masters.
Yeah, that's such truth, dude. I'm laughing because it's 100% true. Do you have a plan for, or do you have you don't have to go into details, but do you have an idea of what you wanted to do for your team for the Pro Dice circuit?
I have two ideas that I'm sitting on. One of them is my risky team that I still have to do a few more test runs with it because I found out about it in my venue. What I do is I alternate between regular old, open, unlimited, constructed, and then I do something called the peasant format where I say you can have nothing bigger than an uncommon card, right? So it can be a starter set card, but it's got to be common or uncommon. That's it. And I came across this idea in that format. So I have to add some tweaks, add some tech to it as well to make it more strong. But it's Team Titans. I'm out with it. There, it's out in the air now. I'm with Team Titans. If I can test it well enough, I'm going to go with it. If it doesn't test so well, I have another backup idea, which is basically counter burn, control burn, where I try to control the board and then just burn you out. You can call it slow burn because it does small amounts of damage for a prolonged period of time, but you're kind of stuck in the crock pot.
So like I noticed that when I play HeroClix, I'm like a super aggro player in HeroClix, but I'm tending towards control with Dice Masters. Is that have you experienced something silly like that, or is that like you play the same style for both games?
I'm experiencing exactly that because one thing about HeroClix versus Dice Masters versus card games in general, card games control is fun. Both players still get a chance to play, but if the control player is left unattended, then all of a sudden, that's when everything kind of the floor falls out from under you, and you can't get your traction back. Whereas HeroClix, because everything's on the board right out the gate, you kind of look at it and go, well, the game has been started, and I'm not playing this game. Prime example was the first time I came across Faust Tech, Felix Faust Tech, where I kind of showed up to the board and I was like, okay, so Felix Faust rolled a foot. What does that mean? I can only make move actions. Okay, that's not so bad. Next one, you can only make power actions. Hold on a second.
Don't worry about it.
Give me a second here.
These are all my starter cards, my OP cards.
The way that power actions work, power actions often allow a free action. If you're only allowed to make a power action, you're not allowed to make the free action as part of that. Apparently, I was just creating the control from the get-go, where I was like, well, I'm not playing. With Dice Masters, you have to develop your board. You have to buy your stuff. And then once you buy your stuff, you got to get it out. Even that's not guaranteed every time. I can tell you very many times, they're like, okay, I can win if this rolls out. Why didn't that roll out? That was a 50-50 chance that I got twice.
All of these together.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that control in Dice Masters takes work, takes earning, and is more rewarding, I think. Whereas HeroClix, your opponent hates you and wants to hit you, and you don't feel good afterwards. Because you have to watch the whole game go.
Those are pretty.
Control on a card game or Dice Masters, it doesn't start that way. You just kind of there's like, I'm going. Whoa!
And because I thought the boxes were good at that point.
Do you have a chance to practice with a lot of people to get your team all edged out? It's like I know your motto is practice makes your team better for HeroClix. Do you have a lot of opponents up there, or do you play online? Or
I have a few opponents that I play with irregularly. Every Saturday I play with my guys, and we all know going in when we're playing. I don't when I say unlimited constructed, that's Fight Club, right? Peasant constructed, that's fun day. Unlimited constructed, let's go. Bring your ink, drop the gloves, grab the jersey, let's fight. And that's we unload on each other on that. And every so often I have a few friends who will meet for a beer and some Dice Masters. Not as regularly as I like. But Amber does also play the game as infrequently as I do. She's just she doesn't have the competitive spirit in this one. She doesn't have quite the competitive spirit that I have, where it's like I want to be the best. And she's like, yeah, I like to play.
Every time I play them.
So did any of I know you said you saw some of the teams in the Pro Dice circuit. Did any of them kind of like strike your eye? You're like, oh, I gotta watch out for that.
I do know, like from what I've seen of it, Pro Dice circuit, that Black Widow is here to stay, for one, because she's very, very recurring in a lot of the teams that I've seen from that. So I've been thinking about ways of dealing with her and accidentally stumbled across some of the ideas by just kind of building teams that I have been building and including some cards that I thought were all right, and then all of a sudden became a little better. Like I think we talked about it earlier over Facebook, but the uncommon Hobgoblin from the Spider-Man set has been one where I kind of looked at it and said, you know what, this is a weird one because part one, a deterrent to globals. If my opponent starts using globals or starts using my globals, doesn't matter who globals are using, he levels up. And then, so that's already a thing. When I bring my Professor X on the board, people want to use them as much as I want to use them, right? Mm-hmm. Or, when I bring that red dragon out, all of a sudden they're more enticed to buy their action dice because there's a red dragon that gives them a reward for it. So by putting the Hobgoblin on there, he's body, I think it's 3/3, 4/4, 5/6 or something ridiculous like that. Of course, they're deterred from making that pretty tough body meteor because he grows with each level. And then on the other side, when I see the Black Widow on the other side of the board, I'm thinking to myself, well, now I have levels to drop. If that Black Widow's attacking me, he can take her because I think over a level 3 die is a 3/3, and Hobgoblin's level 1 die is a 3/3. I'm starting to look at levels. So that's kind of one of the things I've been thinking about is do I have levels on characters. When you mentioned the Atom in our conversation earlier, I was like, hey, there's an idea of how to deal with a Black Widow. Mm-hmm. But then beyond that, there's the Calgary tournament with Jocasta and the Mjolnir, which a friend of mine and myself knew and said, oh no. Because we looked at it and said, I can Mjolnir the board, and my Jocastas take nothing, and you take all the damage dealt to the Jocastas. So there's like 2 or 3 Jocastas on the board, and that Mjolnir comes. Well, they take no damage, and you take 6. If there's 2 of them, let's say, right? I think it's 6. I don't remember the damage on top.
Yeah.
And then he'll clear your board too as a bonus. So the Jocastas come in and finish you off for whatever you have left, for that matter. And of course, it's got a red dragon because breath weapons are insane. They're a really good board clear. I love them. I think it was the first time I watched a guy playing a Gabi against me. Kind of go, I have no sidekicks now. That made me go, this blue dragon's coming with me a lot.
That was my next question. Is like, what do you got to deal with Gabi? But you already answered that.
I like to breathe on them very heavily. I think it's the one of the blue dragons, the 4 cost. He gets a bonus of action dice, which I only put him in there because the other one is a 4 cost blank with breath weapon. So they're both 4 costs. They're both bolts. Let's get the one that has an extra effect in case I decide that one day I'm going to actually remember the base. Because I think the only one I bought recently has been Slander. And when I bought it, it was against a team that it couldn't use. So, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, have you seen the Guy Gardner Rush decks, and do you have anything plans for stopping that?
I've seen them written down. I haven't seen them on the dice mat across from me. So we have to, me and a couple friends have to build this and do what we do in HeroClix and just test it, see exactly how much damage this thing does and how quickly it does that damage. Because it's the Guy Gardner that's forced to attack every turn and gets +1 attack for each character. I'm starting to look at that, and then I'm starting to look at characters like Vulture, and I'm starting to see that there's a lot of fast damage that can suddenly come out of nowhere. I played the Adrian Toombs. Like this week, we did what we call a floor tournament where half your team has to be from the newest set. So half my team was from Spider-Man, and I decided I was going to use Adrian Toombs and Craven together. The Craven was the uncommon that you can sacrifice a character +3 attack. So the character gets sacrificed, he gets +3 attack, and the character that's sacrificed triggers Adrian Toombs, which gives him +4 attack. Here's an extra 7 damage on top of whatever's on the board. And I hope your board wasn't clear when that happened.
Have you?
I only got it off once because sometimes I come up with these ideas and my synergy on the board kind of gets realized about the second turn. It's like, I should have done this and this and this and this and this. Like I start realizing by turn 2, like this isn't going to work together the way it is.
Yeah, that one's.
Have you tested out the uncommon Green Goblin with Adrian Toombs yet?
The uncommon Green Goblin, that's the one you can sacrifice to
level up
or get out for free. Yeah, he was one that came up in conversation. My opponent was using him, which made my Adrian Toombs particularly huge. So like, you sure you want to do that? Okay. And then you're going to attack with a really big guy? I hope he has Overcrush because he's about to die. I went 2-1 that day. We had the player who won played very well and had a little bit more extra tech because he was afraid of certain things that he's seen on a regular basis. Which is actually something I'm starting to think about when I look at these the Pro Dice Circuit. What's the local meta, right? Because if this isn't the full world meta, we're seeing there's some things in there we're looking at. You can look at and go, why is that there? Why is that choice being made? And then you don't realize in some cases they might be used to seeing a specific character, right? Like we had the guy I was talking about, his name's Andrew. He brought the Superboy Prime that when he attacks, he goes an energy character because he's sick of losing to Jocasta. He's like, I'm just not going to let her be on the board. I was like, that's a really good solution.
Yeah, that's totally because like we don't see any Jocastas at all, so I didn't even consider that.
Right.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And I'm sick of losing to Constantine, but don't have Constantine or Constantine for the comic lovers. And I just started bringing Prismatic Spray because he does that to everybody. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of Constantine. Your Constantine's not Constantining anymore.
Pass priority?
Your board's not Constantining anymore. I'm just done with this crap. I keep 1 or 2 dice on it sometimes, and it only finds its way into my control decks. What I find in a game like this, the aggro deck is you devote to the aggro and you just go. And counter control deck is you have to try to widen your tech and make sure that what I'm doing isn't too narrow-minded and targeted, which is why I'm liking the uncommon Hobgoblin as my Black Widow tech, because it doesn't limit myself to just dealing with Black Widow. It gives me the ability to leave the turret on the board so that my opponent's not, enticed to use my globals. I'll just say, well, okay, I'm going to get bigger. Are you using your globals? He's bigger again. You got a big body to do. I kind of like that. At first, I looked at the Wasp, who said no globals deal a damage to you. That was a cool idea, but 1 damage if you've been playing Magic or playing any game with a life total is just an extra cost of resource as far as a lot of people are concerned. As long as I'm not less than 1, I can still win. Right? And I've come back to it from a game where I've been at 1, and I've just been like, all right, well, here we go. But I've also had let opponents do the same thing too, because this game has the most dangerous swing ever created in the game. And I've had opponents kind of look at me and go, I'm attacking with my board. I do the math. I look at how much damage I can do. I'll be left at 1. I'll be like, take it all. He did that thing. He's doing that thing, isn't he? And then it's just like, I have a board now, and you have your own board. Let's go. And just that's what I push in, right? So when I'm rolling, there's a level of patience that kind of comes with this. It's weird. I have this patience in Dice Masters and card games. I don't have the same patience in Married With Clix. I think it's the idea of seeing a 3D character and wanting him to run. It's like, run! Run, doggy, run! And just hoping that he'll run. And then, in a game like Dice Masters and cards, it kind of slows down. It's like, turn the picture, move the square. And there's no rush. You just do your thing.
Awesome. Do you have any ideas you want to give to people just getting into the game or anything like that? Besides, the typical, I'll just keep playing, or do you have anything that helped you get into the game, get you really get going?
I think my big investment in the game came when I actually went and bought a dice mat. Personally, I think it's the best $25 you can spend as far as getting yourself invested in a game because everything's on the board for you. I'm obsessive compulsive about these things, so I like the organization. I like to see everything, make sure it's in the right place. There's no real ambiguity to it. Because when me and Amber first started playing the game, we didn't even have it on camera. We kind of at the table and said, this is our other thing. And if we were to actually start filming games again now, we would actually be using our dice mats and there'd be nothing left up to ambiguity. And we'd know, our opponents would know, and we're invested in it as far as I'm concerned. That and the collector boxes, because having an organized connection is super key. Don't look at that box and it's a $30 box. Nobody has built anything like that. Nobody's even thinking about that kind of organization. Nobody's ready to put 300 dice and a stack of cards in the same box. Nothing like that. And they throw some cards at you, some extended arts, action cards, slightly different sidekick dice, which are actually I like a little bit better than the traditional ones. And, if you're just getting into game and you know a friend, get a collector box and ask them for some sidekick dice because I'm sure they're happy to get rid of them. I got one of those, like a cube of sidekick dice that, where are they going? I don't know where they're going. I can't use extra sidekick dice. There's nothing that brings extras in the game. What do I need with all of these? But that's okay because unlike HeroClix, every set comes with a starter for this game, which means it doesn't matter where you go as far as starting the game. You can hit the ground running with the rulebook. And it'll be the most recent stuff in there and some of the older stuff, right? So Overcrush came out in D&D. You get a rulebook before that, you're not going to have Overcrush rules. But everything from there and on has the Overcrush rules. If you're starting now, get the new starter with the Amazing Spider-Man. Everything's in there, including Underdog and Aftershock. Right? Because those are the two new abilities that I think are really cool. I like how specific they were about Aftershock. There's so many effects in there. It's like something that you want to KO your own thing to Aftershock. I was like, no, you've got to do it. My opponent has to do it.
I personally love the sacrifice mechanic because I play with the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and it just says KO your own dude, and it just puts it in the prep area. So it's like no cost to you. It's something that's a long time coming, and I expect when we get the next whatever Blue Eyes Dragon equivalent will be, we'll have sacrifice instead. But the Amazing Spider-Man was a great set to get going, and there's a lot of fun stuff on there. Plus, you can make the cartoon team.
That is, I like the idea of like the artwork is really cool on that, and I like the differing artwork to a degree, because I got my big D&D dragon that looks
For some reason,
Ant-Man or Spider-Man, and they look like the comic book. And I'm okay with that, big epic sketchy art dragon versus Spider-Man as we know them. You get the idea. When I caught the Nationals. Around the time it was at the same time that HeroClix Nationals was great. And I looked at a guy's board and I was like, it's different. There's D&D Dice Masters now? I almost left that second and went and got some because I like role-playing games almost as much as like comic books. So, I think of this game in general. I like how it plays each thing and you kind of feel it. And you feel it even more when you make it all one continuous unit, right? So if you make a Yu-Gi-Oh build, you see all the Yu-Gi-Oh art kind of there, and it feels good. You play the D&D stuff all together, and it feels good that it's all there. It's the same kind of mixed up feeling when you like all these things and you put them all together, and it's still the artwork is different, but you like that, It's like that's how it drags you feel, and you're not trying to be like the Spider-Man, right? That was a weird tangent.
No, the aesthetic is a very good part of the game. Like, you're talking about the dragon, and look how pimp that looks, dude. That is gorgeous.
Like, he looks like he wants to eat my house.
Oh yeah, dude. And the red dragon is just so much fun. I guess we'll be playing for a full art one of these at the WKO soon. So that.
And I need to step away for a second to put my daughter to bed. I will be right back because I want to talk about this WizKid's open stuff. So just bear with me as I turn off my camera and mic.
All right.
Matt, you go ahead.
I don't know how entertaining I can be by myself. I I guess I can show you the team that I'm kind of playing with at the moment, trying to figure out how to make work. It is control, so I got a Jinzo and a Hulk out there right there. Trigger my Hulk. I got Slither. Of course, PXG. You pretty much play it for his global. It is sick as all get all. The uncommon red dragon, the blue eyes white dragon because of the rare for the super awesome global ability. Constantine because I was playtesting and my friend who's actually sitting next to me wrecked my face with stupid Storm. So I'm like, I'm not gonna let Storm mess my face up anymore. Yeah, he laughs because he knows that hurt.
I don't remember that happening.
What? That totally happened. This is my one iffy card. I'm not 100% on it. This is the Wasp. This is the Bioelectric. It's the alternate art version of it. She has a ability that says each time you use a global ability, she gets +1 in attack and defense until the end of turn, limited to once per global. But that's not on there. She's on there because she's got pay 2 generic energy, do 1 damage to a character. And I wanted a way to trigger my Hulk if I didn't roll bolts one turn. And I've been, we know with Professor X, you're rolling so much dice, you're almost always rolling bolts. So I think I'm good, but I think I might swap her with Zarina or the Black Widow that we've been talking about because she's fast and beat sticky and stuff like that. And cool, Jason is back, so otherwise you don't have to look at me awkwardly saying stuff. How you doing, Jason?
I'm good. My daughter's in bed now, so.
Awesome. I was just chatting up my team. The only thing I had left was my action cards. Polymorph, easily one of the best cards in the game. But yeah, it's so cool because it cut. Like I found that buying 2 of them, I have almost no characters in my use file. So
one less for big entrance.
It stops people from using polymorph against me, which is something I think everyone needs to learn how to do is how to polymorph out one of your opponent's big trouble issues. Like, because a lot of people won't see that coming. They'll buy something like Rinky Dink because they had energy left over, and you're like, nope, now I'm polymorphing out your big gross dude. Let it go. And then distraction, it's there for that sick global and stuff like that.
Yeah, distraction is a good countermeasure. It's like, really big attack. No. We're gonna have none of that, young man.
That would have been pretty bad.
Distraction is like one of our saviors for the giant vulture because they sacrifice all their dudes, they attack. Oh, I distracted them. You've got nothing left to sacrifice next turn. Sorry.
Yeah, you got a vulture to block with, and I'm not attacking with 1 defense, dude. I know what that vulture does. It's a reverse breath weapon almost. Stop.
That is entirely true. I never even thought about it that way. Oh, that was a.
Do you know him? No. Who it is.
That is the worker at the store I'm at. He came by and waved at us and stuff like that. But, hi, Tom. How you doing?
Chilling. You got everything?
Oh yeah, everything's rad.
I like to photo.
He takes.
It's like a low light situation where they don't realize I'm back there.
Tom. Do you have any jokers like that you got to deal with?
What's that?
What's up? Do you have any jokers like that?
I missed that. What was that last one there?
Oh, do you have any jokers like Tom who likes to photobomb you while you're trying to do videos?
Well, we have Mike who photobombs all of our pictures of champions. But I am also the Joker. So I am oftentimes the Tom, as much as I am the straight man. I feel like I'm only the straight man on the Metal Lab, where it's like, guys, shh, stop, no.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I gotta mediate that show and let them talk, and I throw in my ideas every so often when they'll shut up, which isn't frequently. That's kind of why I go on such big tangents. When people talk, they kind of go, and I have to wait and listen and save it. And then I've been saving things for a while, and it's just boom, vomit.
They announced that Canada is going to be getting some WKOs now. You kind of stoked about that?
I am the most excited in the world that anybody's ever seen. I've been so pumped about it. And I can't wait to find out some more information about it, find out where they're being held, because we know where all the U.S. locations are, and I actually have Kenny Pena, who's a major Hero Clix player from the New Jersey, New York area, begging me to come to Rochester. And I have people begging me to go to California, and everybody wants me to show up. It's like I kind of want to play Hero Clix Dice Masters, guys. I'm not solo on this anymore, right? And,
well, if you want to come down to Austin, you can totally play Ice Masters and HeroClix 2 down here.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the idea. Is all these areas now have their WizKids open, so that means nobody has that excuse really. I mean, it's spread out enough that, let's be honest, when it comes to an event this big, it's always worth the travel. And I mean, like, look at where I go for HeroClix Nationals. That's in Ottawa. I'll go. And if the only local one is Ottawa for WizKids Open, I'll be there. A 4.5, 5 hour drive. Competitive go. You gotta shout it down. I'll be there. I'll knock you on the door early even, or I'll be there the day before to bother them. Speaking with my worst fake French accent that I can come up with. I brought the Denmark from the Quebec area in Ottawa. But with that said, you know, these are worth going to, and I hope that everybody in the U.S. can kind of get to one of them. There's 9 of them. I don't know if that's enough of a spread across the U.S. Fingers crossed that it's not too big an issue for other people. Sometimes the state line is worth crossing for this, because I can't stress enough when it comes to these games. Everybody who says the try-hard players are the worst, they are in fact the best. The best people go to those. The people who go there know that they're trying to win, but they know that there's a good chance that they'll lose because everybody there is really trying their best to go. And when they lose, they shake hands, they say that was well played, and very rarely slow losers in hyper competition, where I honestly have to say is that some of the most shoulders I've ever come across have been the what you can refer to as the casual players, the guys that only occasionally come out, play a team that's not particularly well built, not built to win, and for some reason expect to win when more people put more work into the number. Anyway, but that being said, and my little rant that I somehow managed to get into it every time. WizKids Opens, on the other hand, they're unbelievable. The pricing that I see on these, I want to pre-register for every single one.
You're like, I'm taking up a tack
on the Iron Fist, right? And they have the Iron Fist there. So I mean, it's the blank card one. I think they said, right, or the blank art one.
I thought it was both the Iron Fists.
It might be. Both are just as exciting. Let's be brutally honest, right?
Do I have to buy something if I do
Dice Masters? Sorry, I have this nasty habit of Googling things, and I keep forgetting I'm not on my show where I can let my other guys talk while I Google something very quickly. So I actually have to be on my game here. But when I found out there was an Iron Fist, I was like, I got excited. And then I found out that he was specific to this event. And I was like, oh no, where are these events being held? Did we get an OP kit for this? What do you mean we didn't? And it was for the Rainbow Draft weekend, I think?
Yes.
I only just recently discovered how Rainbow Draft works in Dice Masters, and I want to play it every bloody week. I am absolutely in love with the draft format in this game. And kudos to the designers of this game. They did a great job of creating a game that, like Magic, like versus out of the box, you can draft them. I find Magic still has that limitation of the resource to land, if you will. But this game has a sidekick dice, but it's always 8. It's always the same dice on the specific one. So everybody who's playing the game should have 8 sidekick dice. And if you don't, ask the guy next to you. I guarantee he's willing to give you 8. And anyway, that said, the Iron Fist is something I want to get. Iron Fist is one of my favorite characters. The Hero for Hire, the original Hero for Hire, Iron Fist is big favorite characters of mine. So I'm really excited to get a chance to get them. Just in general, even if it's just a mask on the dice, I'm content with that. And then there's cards that I haven't seen in the game, or is it because I've played twice? Is there Mixes Pitlick yet?
No, there's not. These are all new. There's all new cards. You're gonna get the Terry McGinnis just for showing up, and how cool is that if you're a Batman Beyond fan?
Yeah, free Batman Beyond. I'm there.
And let's not gloss over the fact that they have that thing where they have side events and they're counting up your points for your side events, and they're counting up your points for both days. So if you're like us that play both games, you're getting your HeroClix side event points and your Dice Master side event points. You're going to get yourself a grand prize.
Absolutely. And look, the fact that they're running both Rainbow Draft and Constructed in this, I'm so hard pressed as to what I'm going to play. I mean, I might run out of money on the Rainbow Drafts eventually, so I might have to revert to counting my nickels and dimes for Constructed play, but I'm okay with that as well. And just looking at it was the weirdest thing because on the Metal app on Monday, when I was talking to the guys, I wanted to get into the Dice Master stuff. I was like, this is exciting. Check out all the Dice Master stuff. I was like, wait. You're
That's why I reached out to you. I was like, I'll talk Dice Masters to you because that's a lot of fun. That's up my alley too.
Yeah, and it was great. I was so happy you got to me. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I gotta do this. I gotta get the Dice Masters out of me. And like just even the regional portion of it, the cost of entry is $15. That's you expect that for a high level tournament. It's gonna be high, right? Was it top 8? So players 5 through 8 and 1 through 8 get an Oracle and a Loki Lawson, and then you get the top 4, which will be 3rd and 4th, as well as everybody above that gets. In addition to that, an extended art Blinding Rage Guy Gardner and a Blink Exile full art. Top 2, so 2nd and down, also get on top of that Mr. Mix's Pitlick and the Green Goliath Hulk, and then the winner gets all of that plus an amazing Spider-Man super rare set. I mean, that's so much awesome just for I am so enticed to try as hard as I can to get that prizing. I just want to play in it, and if I don't do well and I don't make the top 8, I'm content to just go play the side event because I love Rainbow Draft. I love the Dice Masters game in general. Just a chance to keep going and play as much of the game in a single weekend as I can. I'm going to be so WizKids out by the end of that weekend. It's going to be insane. Part of me too, I have a D&D attacking starter set. I have almost read the rule book twice. I'm not going to lie. I picked it up and said, wait, okay. HeroClix. All right. I go put it down and go to HeroClix. And so many times have I almost picked up that book and read those rules, and I'm tempted, and it's just I get distracted from the game. One day I will read those rules, and I will go get my butt kicked in some attacks. I'm not too confident in my Dice Masters right now either because my play group is 6 people. So I have a local meta, but I haven't expanded that yet, which is why I kind of want to go to this new store on Wednesdays, see what they're playing, and then try this Pro Dice tournament so I can see where I got to work my game. Because I can't tell you how much better you get after your first competitive tournament. Any game. I mean, it could be versus system, which I got. I played for a long time, which is as long as the game let me play. Magic the Gathering, I played for I think a good 4 or 5 years in the money area. And it wasn't until I went to my first tournament, oh, all right, so I got to fix this, and this. And then I went to my first big tournament, and I was like, oh, I got to I was like, and I get to the big thing, I'm like, what the hell's a side business? In fact, one of the things about my Magic team, my team of players I play Magic with, they hated the fact that I never built a sideboard in mine or never built a sideboard. To the point where one time they offered me $300 to come to a tournament with a sideboard. Land in my sideboard. I was like, what? You said build a sideboard. Where's my money? So, anyway, that's just what I just described is just the top 8 of that big tournament. That's not even including what you get in the side events, which, holy smokes, quick play or Rainbow Draft, where the quick play is like a and the winners of that get a stack. Joker, Namor, Robin, nice. Storm, and Aquaman full and then participating, you get an Iron Man or a Batmobile. So from the Rainbow Draft weekend, because locally we didn't have any of those, I desperately want to get, because if I look at the price value on eBay for Iron Fist ever again, I might need new pants, because it's it was unbelievable. I thought what Toad was charging for Constantine was too much. Iron Fist is extortion. I mean, okay, I respect that it's not very well available. It's not, the cheapest, easiest thing to get. I get the rarities thing, but god damn, $115. No.
Are you kidding me? Is that how much they're charging for it?
And that's what I saw. Like the last time I actually actively looked for it, that was the price tag on it, and I said no. It might have come down since then because everybody who wanted one has one now, but it was high for a while. Okay, I got one without this one for $10 right now, so maybe it's cooled off. That's the one without art. What does the one with art go for right now? I don't even want to imagine. Because that wasn't even listed with dice either. $20 for both cards with one die.
Yeah, that's about right. That's what I think you should be looking for. Not the 110.
You know what? What might have happened? I'm not gonna lie. That might have been a full 4 set of dice with the cards, and that's because it's a max 4. Who does that, by the way?
Somebody who wants to throw away $80 worth of just cards because they.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, but I mean, like, I want to know the design decision on giving away a single die and a single card as a prize. I mean, it's max 4. Like I thought they were right with Atomica, max 1. Okay, because you're only giving me 1 card, 1 die. Iron Fist, what are you doing to me? You're giving me more cards than dice because you get the blank art card and the full art card, right?
As a chump,
the most angry about it is how much I love Iron Fist.
And just wait until people can start doing like art from the show onto the blank art version. How sick will that be?
Oh, dude, I want to find out whose cast does it so I can get the photoshops early. It's like, look, this is my first Photoshop Iron Fist before this Iron Fist came out. I will do that. I am that guy. I
don't want to bring up an old conspiracy, but like how they always say that DC gets favorable treatment from in HeroClix. Did you notice that most of the original art for the prizes was DC? Everything else was like, with the exception of one Marvel card, I believe they were all just retooled art.
Yeah, you know what? I think there's a licensing thing that came with the Disney buyout that I don't know how to put it politely. So I'm gonna put it as they're stringent as far as letting other people touch their art. Because Disney, as its own company, has its long-standing history of protecting its artwork. And then they just bought another art company. Right? And then this art company that they purchased has all these licensing deals out there. And all of a sudden, Disney went, Marvel, you got to work like us on this. I think, and I can never blame WizKid for any of this when it comes to stuff like that. As far as making the strategy and the characters and the power in the characters, that I can blame WizKid. But at the same time, it depends on who. And one thing I do know, and it's something I missed early on when I was talking about how I got into the game, was part of this game was the fact that WizKids advertised it on their homepage for HeroClix. That was step 1. So I was a sucker for advertising. Step 2 was I found out the game designer, Eric Lang, one of the designers on the game, was a guy I played board games with many years ago when I first met Amber. We met at Eric and his roommate George's house all the time and played board games, sometimes play testing his board game ideas. He's a really accomplished board game designer, and I like a lot of his work, and I like talking to the guy, and he introduced me to good board games, because before I met Eric, all I knew was Monopoly, and maybe I played Settlers of Catan once or twice. And when Eric showed me board games, the first thing he told me was forget the theme. Right? Because when you get into a board game, sometimes the mechanic is built around a terrible theme. There's a good mechanic in there, right? Like Zularetto, as an example, is like, why am I going to ever buy a game about building a zoo? And then he's like, okay, forget that they're animals. Like, oh, this is actually pretty neat. It's a good game to sit across the table and have some beers and play games with people. But it wouldn't have been something I would have done before meeting Eric. So he kind of got me into that open mind of board games. And when I found out he was designing the game, I figured he's got to be getting some kind of royalties on it, so I'll throw him some money. I do have a sizable collection of games that he's touched. I haven't yet got Quarriors, which is the original base of this game, so I feel bad that I haven't done that, but at the same time, I've put enough into Dice Masters, I think I've made up for it now. So I'm hoping that kind of went his way. I've met him a couple times since, but he's always seems to be busy, which is good for him because that means he's getting work, and he's been doing good work. So anyway, so I know having known Eric, I know his number one concern is always 100% balance. On sets he's worked on Magic the Gathering in the past. He worked on the World of Warcraft board games, Fantasy Flight, did a lot of work with them. So I know one of his first rules as a board game designer is understanding the balance, making sure that there's as much balance as you can possibly get. So I trust him to a certain degree, and I haven't let down. Although there is reverse power creep in this game. The first set had a few good things that still stand out as really good, and it seems that they had to try to curb that. But that means that. And it's happening in HeroClix to a certain degree, while some things are really hot in HeroClix. There's like 1 or 2 figures are really good, whereas the rest of the set compared to certain older sets don't quite stand out. And that's we're in that curve down where we're going to get to hopefully this flat area for a while, where everything kind of makes sense and nothing really stands out as too potent. And hopefully rotation happens in this game too. Rotation would really help take some of that stuff that people are going, oh my goodness, this is too strong, this is out there and really, really good. What do I do about this? And kind of go, okay, well, now that that's gone, what do they do? And they might realize that something out there already might stand out as like, once that's gone, too potent in this environment. So it's a catch-22 you might run into, right?
Yeah, I'm excited for rotation too. I totally like Zarina and Gabi too, and they're a lot of fun. I totally like my Hulk, but yeah, it's good for the game for it to grow if we're not seeing the same, 3 or 4 cards in every team. So yeah, totally. If the rumor's true, hopefully after Worlds, but I'm spreading that rumor, even if it's not true or not. Because I think it's good for the game.
It is good for the game, and as well, it's a good chance because this is year 2 of Dice Masters, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
So once you've completed your second year, that's when it's okay. Let's take the first year and delete, because year 2 was good. Year one has to kind of go to the past for us for a little bit, and let's kind of move things forward in that degree where you can take a year, get rid of the year, and then move into the next year, and that's going to be where everything old in here is old now, whereas not as new, right? And, it's healthy. It keeps a rotation of things. It's good for the company because then people are buying the new stuff, and as long as they cut. One of the mistakes I think they're making right now in HeroClix is there's not a great deal of support for the Golden Age. The game that over there is everything they do is modern age. It's fine in my books because it helps me. It gives me a borderline to maintain my collection. Because let's be brutally honest, I don't have the space for it. I have 3 children and they take up enough space. I have 6 boys and they're taking. So a little bit of reasonable space limitation for me would be great.
7 total.
And I think I've talked myself into the floor here. Big tangent.
No, I understand. Like in this modern age, like kind of escapes my mind. So like I can't even try like Silver Age tournaments that far back. This weekend in Houston, they're doing a Rock Winamap. That's the other format, the one where it's 400 points and up to Superman, I believe, carded. And, and my friend doesn't even know where to start. I wouldn't know where to start. I just make a modern team. That's all I would do. But
I'd be tempted to make a 400-point modern team, or I'd bring because that one allows the non-clicks, like the non-comic clicks, right? So I'd probably be likely to bring out my Pacific Rim stuff. It's like, hello, Gypsy Danger. Let's see what happens. Because I had that collection. It's sitting in a box, and I love the movie. I'm trying to actually give those guys a bit of a college try, if you will.
Probably is what I should have done.
Awesome.
To get rid of your
I guess the
Magneto.
What are you doing to prepare for your Pro Dice Circuit? That's coming up in 3 weeks from now, right?
January 10th. I haven't even done the math. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy crap! It is like 4 weeks from now. It's on a Sunday. Oh wow. Not enough. I just came up with my build like 3 days ago. Like my 2 builds 3 days. Actually, right, I came up with 1 build 3 days ago. Haven't tested it yet. But it's a lot of things that I have tested with new modifications. Because one of the things that I've noticed about the strategy behind Dice Masters is you come up with like 3 or 4 things that work together, synergize, and are your goal. Point A, point B, point C, D, ends game. Where the other 4 cards I find kind of are your ideas or things that facilitate that. So, for instance, I'll have like 14 Titans as this is an example of part of my 10 Titans. I'll use 14 Titans. Then I have Professor X because Professor X. And then it's like, okay, now I got to decide: do I want globals? Do I want tech? Do I want to punish people and protect my global? Right? So. One of those pieces always ends up protecting globals or protecting globals to some degree. Wasp was my original go-to. Now I'm just kind of looking at Hobgoblin saying you're big. And then you'll look at Superboy Prime and go, Jacasa's an issue. Jacasa's an issue I got to deal with.
I think you need your kobolds to start getting.
And then you get that 8th slot where you're either deciding on something for your early game that is weak, or is just another global that you think is really good, or alternative end game depending on the utility. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not the tried and hard and tested format of Dice Masters, but it seems to be the one that kind of makes its way around. Because if we go back to the Pro Dice Circuit teams over there, if you look at them, there's not a lot of these builds that have almost all the cards with 4. And you can almost tell that some of them only have 1 because they have a specific tech in mind, or they'll have 2 of them because there's a tech that they're preparing themselves for. Right? Another observation I made, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but it seemed that every top 2 was burn versus control. Burn winning more than 50% of the time. I might be crazy, but it happened in Magic because Paul Sly won for a reason, and that deck burned hard. But I said that happens in the early game because the thing about going straight to face is that they only have so much face before they run out of face and you win, right? So when in doubt, go to face is a good mentality. And a good burn deck is just always in doubt, right? So I will never bash a good burn deck because, to be honest, if it works, it wins, and if you win, congrats, you built a good burn. It's aggressive, and it'll put you on your feet or on your ass, depending on, on your butt, depending on who you are. But you got to prepare yourself for that as well, and that's part of the preparation. So when I'm building, I guess where I'm going back to right here is I came up with an original idea that I originally had that needed some more tech. There might have been too much. Like it was originally mostly a D&D deck or build with Professor X, but some of that was just to keep it D&D, right? Like vampires are not as good as I think they are.
No, I want them to be. I really want them to be. That 4-cost vampire that if he spins them down and preps you a dice, oh man.
Yeah.
I want to run him with Ant-Man.
Yeah. And I look at the human paladin, and I was like, I brought you out, and I don't know why. And then I realized that his global was really good, so I almost kept him in, but then I found other things kind of wanted it. Anyway, I looked at things that didn't end up getting used, because I've gone through whole tournaments with my guys, and just been like, I never used you, or you, and you had no other reason other than I wanted you to be out. And if I don't have a reason for you to be out on my board, if I'm not putting you out, I'm not putting you in anymore. I think Gelatinous Cube is guilty of that for me. It's like, oh yeah, you're not coming out. Why am I not bringing you out? Oh, because I get 4 energy and a dragon is better than you. So.
Awesome.
So right now, like the first one was that, and I did that 3 days ago, because I also only found out about Pro Dice Circuit 3 days ago. like that there was one in the area. I was like, oh wow. I listened to the reserve pool, so I knew that the pro dice circuit existed. What I neglected to do was look at their website after listening to them on the subway and finding out if there was one near me. Because it sounds like out west has a much more dominant dice masters than we have here. But I think we're actually starting to pick up now that more licenses have been picked up, more things are coming out. There's more variety to it all, and then we're actually starting to get some organized play going. And we're organizing organized play. I think one of the big weaknesses was every store wanted to run the dice masters on Sunday. And by Sunday, everybody wants to kind of be done with the weekend. If you're not like right next to me, I don't want to go all the way out to play dice masters. And there's a distance issue in the GTA, where, believe it or not, the most populated center of the city actually doesn't have most of the players. It has like the most densely populated area. Actually, they spread out from outside of it instead of the outskirts of it, because that's where you need hobbies, in the suburbs, right? So that's kind of the issue we've been running into as far as getting players in. Now that we're starting to get them through this, I'm gonna kind of push the guys to go to this Pro Dice Circuit tournament at this venue, and I'm probably gonna be jacked up on coffee by then, because I think by the end of this weekend I should be done with energy drinks. Kind of a personal life choice. Like, those are expensive and very sugary. Even though I drink my coffee sugary, I'm gonna go get a coffee because it's not cheaper too. Wow, that was a different tangent altogether.
Awesome.
And that's what I was doing.
Cool. Well,
It worked pretty
it's been about an hour. This has been super informative, because like now I've got a different prospect on how to build teams in my head. Like I was like, that I hadn't thought about before, and dude, this has been pretty snazzy. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I appreciate that, man.
Hey, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Cool. And your show is Married With Clix. I guess for the Dice Masters fans that don't follow Hero Picks and stuff like that, but I watch you religiously. So thank you for joining us. And good luck with your Pro Dice Circuit, dude.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be on anytime you want me to chit-chat about Dice Masters.
We'll totally have to do this more often then, totally.
Absolutely. It's always good to bounce ideas off of another head, because if you don't have another head to bounce off ideas, especially at a distance that we are, because you're in Austin, I'm in Canada, we got completely different mindsets and thinking. I mean, I play soccer on the ice with a black puck and sticks, and you guys love baseball. I mean, there's totally different thinking in our two parts of the world, and maybe it happens with the games. So always happy to talk.
I'm actually going to go to a hockey game tomorrow. So I'm actually going to go see a hockey game tomorrow.
Oh, so, enjoy. Dallas Stars?
They're minor league affiliate. Yeah. So
okay.
They're in Austin.
I hear they've been killing it lately. So anyway, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you have a killer night, man.
You too, man.
Thank you.